Today we're going to do 4-3, and we are going to be talking about angles on our coordinate plane. So if I have a coordinate plane, which is my x and y axis, I can draw angles all around this coordinate plane. My positive x-axis will be my initial side. And this is where we're going to start our angles. If we go counterclockwise, this will be a positive angle. And if we go clockwise, we will have negative angles. Since our initial side is our positive x-axis, this would be where we start with 0 degrees. All the way around a circle is 360. Halfway around would be 180 degrees. Half of that would be 90 degrees. And 3/4 of the way around would be 270 degrees. We also need to know what these angles measurements are in radians. So 0 still is 0 degrees. 90 would be equal to pi over 2 radians. 180 is pi radians. 270 is 3 pi over 2. And 360 is 2 pi. When we draw an angle, we start at our origin and make what is called the terminal arm. Come out of the origin, and we make a little angle measurement stating that from the initial side to the terminal arm. So if I wanted to make a negative angle, I would start at my initial side and go to my terminal arm. Let's do 2 examples. Negative 210. We're first going to label our sides. So we know that if this is my terminal arm, my initial side, and I'm going down because I have a negative angle, down here would be negative 90 degrees. And then negative 180 degrees, then negative 270 degrees, and negative 360 degrees. So now I have to see where negative 210 fits into this. And that's a little bit after 180, but not yet to negative 270. And now I graphed negative 210 degrees. So if I have a negative angle, I want my x and y axis to be labeled 0, negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360, which is really negative. Pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2, and negative 2 pi. Then when I have radians, I know that my radian measurement are pi, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. But that doesn't help me when I'm talking about 23 pi over 12. So what I'm going to do is make these radian measurements with a common denominator of 12. So in order for me to say 1 pi, I'm going to say 12 pi over 12. Half of that is going to be 6 pi over 12. Then I add the 2 and I get 18 pi over 12. And 2 pi would be 24 pi over 12. And now I can see that the 23 pi over 12 is over here in our fourth quadrant. Just so we remember, this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And then we have what is called coterminal angles. Coterminal angles means that we have the same terminal arm. So angles with the same terminal arm mean we could be there, we could go a negative way and end there, or we can go all the way around our circle and end there. So we can have angle measurements that are greater than or less than 2 pi and 360. So in order to find coterminal angles, we are going to add or subtract 360 degrees or 2 pi. So 285. First we're going to graph that. So 90, 180, 270, 360, 0. 285 is going to go around here, and it was positive, so I went that way. Now if I take 285 and add 360, that means I'm going around my circle one time and then going another 285 degrees. And would be 645 degrees, which would mean I go all the way around my circle for the 360, and then I keep going to get to the rest of the 285. I can also have a negative angle where I take 285 and subtract 360, which means I'm just going the opposite direction. And I get negative 125 and negative 125 negative 280 minus 360 is negative 75, which would be that angle right there.